The Z Flip. I've wanted this phone for a long time. Ever since I got my Galaxy Z Fold 2 over 9 months ago, I've always been curious about what the Flip brings to the table, and whether or not anybody's actually gonna buy this thing.
Do you guys not have phones?
Will the compact size actually be useful?
Ooh.
Can I live with the disadvantages, and is this thing actually fun to use? Well, I've had the Z Flip 5G for just over 2 weeks, and it has already got me questioning why the actual heck this thing exists. On one hand, Samsung has made a great and useful smartphone that folds in half. I stuffed that up. Folds in half to a cute little square that's nice and compact when needed. It's a phone that's fun, quirky, and not like other girls.
I'm not like other girls.
On the other hand, however, Samsung has made a small square that you constantly need to be unflipping in order to try and match what a regular smartphone can do the moment you pull it out of your pocket.
Good job.
The hardest part about all of this is that, on its own, I would consider the Z Flip a good phone, maybe even a great one. It's got a great screen, all-day battery life, decent camera, and a fun and interesting design. But when you put it into comparison with the other two Samsung flagships that came out the same year, things start to become a lot more complex.
Can we just stay up here all day? It is so crazy down there.
Xiaomi becomes the number one smartphone.
Xiaomi has overtaken Samsung.
I've just been thinking about how to fix all of this.
In my opinion, the Z Fold 2 is the go-to for the most practical, useful folding phone you can buy right now. Instead of extending from a small square to a full smartphone, the Fold expands from a regular phone into a mini tablet, giving you a feature that is unheard of on any other smartphone.
I've never seen a screen like this before.
This large screen is seriously awesome, there is no other way to put it. Apps are bigger, with some adding more tablet features like columns and extra information, and others just take advantage of the extra breathing room a screen like this provides. The Z Flip, on the other hand, just unfolds into a regular smartphone display. Another fantastic feature for the Fold is that the second you pull it out of your pocket, you can effectively interact with the phone on the front cover display. You don't have to go to the hassle of unfolding it. There's a screen right there for you to do quick actions that you might want to do after pulling the phone out of your pocket. The Z Flip, on the other hand, has none of this, instead having this tiny little cover display that allows you to do fantastic features such as watch a message timeout before you can read it, or tap a notification so it can tell you to open the phone for more details. Yeah. And while flip phones like the Moto Razr or even the Flip 3 have larger cover displays that show more complex things, even these can't compare to the size and effectiveness of the Fold's cover display. I guess any way you flip it, the Fold just knows how to show you more stuff.
The entire world is about
buy foldables.
Wait, everyone? Oh my god.
The S21.
stop tampering with the spell.
Oh my god.
The A series.
Stop talking.
Warning.
What just happened?
However, the Flip does have a few strengths of its own. It's much more compact than the cumbersome Fold 2, with the Fold pretty much being like a brick in your pocket compared to the cute little square of the Flip. I love putting the Flip in any top pockets I have. It just keeps my pants pockets much less cluttered, and this is something that the Fold 2 can't even dream of doing. And while the Flip's unfolded screen is smaller than the Fold's, the main thing is that it's really close. Oh, damn it. The main thing is that it's really close to the aspect ratio of a regular smartphone, meaning it feels much more natural and easier to hold with one hand.
Oh my gosh, it's so long.
Wait, that's illegal.
It is impressively long.
Android apps just work with the flip screen, compared to the Fold where the front screen is far too tall and the inside screen is far too wide to effectively support any apps that aren't coded specifically to work with it, which is unfortunately not a lot. Plus, all of this isn't even mentioning that the Z Fold 2 costs $550 more than the Flip. Although some might see this as a compliment because you can walk around talking to the peasants and be like, huh, clearly you don't own a Z Fold 2. Oh, mother, quick, bring the private yacht around. There's too much filth in here. In the end, while these two phones share the same folding screen technology, they execute the idea of a folding phone in two very different ways, leading to devices that are ultimately made for two very different purposes. It seems like the Flip has more in competition with regular flagship phones. Slabship phones? Has more competition with regular slabship phones than it does with the Fold. So, how does it compare to these Slabian phones then?
We tampered with the stability of space-time.
Foldables.
It's a concept about which we know frighteningly little.
The Note 20 Ultra is, hands down, the best slabship phone Samsung has ever made. Compared to the Flip, it's the much more conventional, practical, and just all-round safer choice to make. The Note's got water resistance,
Get out of the top.
dual speakers, an under-display fingerprint scanner, and even room for an S Pen.
I'll take your entire stock!
The Note has a wider 6.9-inch screen compared to the 6.7-inch on the Flip, much slimmer bezels on the screen itself, and yeah, the screen is made of actual proper glass. Not the kinda glass, but really just plastic screen of the Flip. The Note screen doesn't have a crease, it can't be scratched easily with a fingernail, and it won't develop a hairline crack down the middle of the crease all by itself. Fold? Yeah, my Fold 2 started to develop one of those fun fractures that randomly appear down the middle of the crease, and even though my Fold 2's inside naked plastic screen has held up very well over the last 9 months, this crack situation has left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, especially knowing that it may happen to the Flip. The glass on the Note 20 Ultra, however, is proper glass, and thankfully, glass is glass, and does not break by itself. Fold. The case situation is also so much better on the Note. The leather case I got for the Z Flip is flimsy and doesn't even protect the front of the phone. Not even to mention that the case is attached via suction cups that I'm sure will wear out over time and will suck more. More? Yeah. Whereas the Note has a trusty old regular smartphone case that'll, shrug off the best of them. And finally, the biggest difference between the two, the cameras. Because unfortunately, as much as image processing is important in making good-looking photos, camera hardware matters just as much. And comparing the size of the Z Flip's camera with the Note 20 Ultra's shows this disparity like nothing else. The Note shots are cleaner and more detailed, especially in low light. Except for when I redid the test and actually ended up liking the Flip's photos better. This is very confusing. But I think that this problem might actually have stemmed from the Note 20 Ultra's 108 megapixel camera, so stay tuned for a video about that in the future. The Z Flip has no telephoto camera, while the Note 20 Ultra blasts ahead with a 5x periscope zoom camera, one that I find exceptionally handy for getting those faraway shots. In its defense though, the Flip's cameras are fine, and they get the job done. But considering that the Flip costs $50 more than the Note 20, it's disappointing to say the least.
The problem is you trying to live two different lives. The longer you do it, the more dangerous it becomes.
However, and stop me if you've heard this one before, There's just something about the Flip that separates it from all the rest. The ability to fold this phone in half has become extremely useful. Again, top pocket, such a good place to put it. It can stand up on its own and act as a tripod, or go into flex mode and make content easier to see. Plus, there's just something so very satisfying about slapping the phone shut when you're finished with it. I got the satisfying feeling on the Fold, and thankfully I get it on the Flip too. It all just comes down to whether all of this folding fantasticness is worth the compromises that come with the Flip. While making this video, I asked around my friend groups and work colleagues about whether they'd consider buying a Z Flip or a similar foldable clamshell like it. I was trying to get a feel for what regular people actually think of this phone, and the general consensus was that nobody really cared. There wasn't a great deal of people that looked at it and said, that's gonna be my next phone. The closest thing that I got to someone asking it was, hey, when is Apple gonna make one of these? Personally, while I will definitely be keeping this phone around, for top pocket use of course, as someone that has only ever really used regular slab ship phones all my life, and thus has never had the nostalgia for the old flip phones of the past, I doubt this Z Flip 5G will ever be my daily driver again. So, I kind of felt like the ending of the video didn't really give you a good idea of what my final thoughts on this product now are. All the compromises, all the things that I thought other phones had against it, they really just fall away by the wayside. The plastic screen is honestly livable, especially if you keep the screen protector on. The cameras are not actually that bad, and the whole form factor is actually pretty useful when compared to slab ship phones. A female friend of mine, for example, mentioned how useful this is going to be in regards to combating the ever-growing issue of women's short pockets. After learning, living, and liking this phone a whole lot more than I did a month ago, I cannot recommend anybody buy this phone. Its durability is still a big concern. At the end of the day, it just looks like a regular smartphone, and the cameras are still pretty meh. Do you see why this is such a confusing phone? It's as practical as it is impractical, as confusing as it is concise, and as useful as it is useless. In the end, I think this really comes down to personal choice. If you think that this phone is the most useless piece of garbage you've ever seen, or whether you think that this phone will change your life and make living with this phone so much easier, only you can make that call, and only the sun can block this shade. I guess the only thing I can truly say in the end is that this phone truly does have me torn.
Thank you all for believing in OnePlus.
Be careful what you wish for.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming to my nerd talk. Even if this is still kind of a confusing phone, I've really enjoyed talking about it and testing it over the last couple weeks. Sorry to all the phone nerds that got offended from me saying that folding phones might flop, but I will 100% guarantee you that as soon as AR glasses become a reality, the interest in folding phones will fade almost overnight. If you like what I do, subscribing would be spunky. The Huawei P50 Pro Plus looks kinda funky. And of course, stay strong.